Welcome back to the Southern Two-Lane Podcast. I'm DJ Seeley.
Randall B.
Jeremy Johnson.
Buck Owens.
Buck Owens in the house.
Down to the streets of Bakersfield. I'm going to do that every time. I'm going to say it, the streets of Bakersfield.
You want to know where the buck came from? Sixth grade,
Okay.
middle school football. I had a football coach. He wasn't my head coach. He was, like wide receivers coach. And he came up to me one day. He's hollering at players, running sprints and all that stuff. And he's like, "Owens, get over here, Owens. That's like that Buck Owens. You watch Hee Haw, son?" I'm like, "Yes, sir. Give me some 20s," that kind of thing. And so Buck stuck. There are people.
What?
Buck stuck, and there are people who have known me literally my whole life and don't know my real name is Chris. To them, I'm Buck.
Oh, wow.
And I always have been, always will be. So, yeah, it stuck through.
We're going to have to get
college.
you a hat. It's got Bakersfield across
Yeah.
it.
Sixth grade. You went to Coleman, right?
Yeah.
You had Danny Miller.
Yeah.
Roll call, boys.
Roll call, boys. You ever get paddled by that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was used to run and jump and hang on the rim.
Yeah.
And, I was a fast grower in 7th grade. So,
Yeah. And
paddled a number of those. Well, that hurts.
so yeah, and
They need to do something with that today.
and it stuck through college. Buck stuck, and
Say it again.
Buck stuck. And,
That's what he needs. Buck stuck.
But my wife refuses to call me Buck.
Like butt stuff.
That's what it does. It does kind of sound like that. I was thinking it. I was just waiting
Oh,
to
my
Let's
goodness
not go there.
gracious.
So maybe I need a new nickname now, but yeah, Buck's easy to remember too.
Butt Owens.
Yeah, you. So like when you and I had the awesome privilege of meeting Mr. RP Fighter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Rip, R.I.P.
In Sturgis, Mr. Robert Patrick. I introduced myself to him as Buck, and he says to me, "Buck Owens, man, I love your music." I thought, man, see, so it's more likely that
It's
Robert,
a conversation piece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Robert Patrick, he might remember that he met Buck Owens.
Yeah. He might do it.
I'm
He
gonna
might.
have to get me a nickname.
Yeah, I got one for you.
That's why I call I'm ready to be. It's DJ.
I got
We used to call you JJ.
JJ's been a thing for most of my life.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
but that's not clever enough, and we can't
Yeah.
poke fun at you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So,
JJ.
So I've got a topic that we can touch on before we move on to a bunch of other things. Let's talk.
Listen to before he even says anything. There is a possibility if he says what I think he's about to say that I'm gonna go have a snack. I'll be back.
No, that's not what you think it is. Let's talk. Let's talk helmet communications. So, well, no, I
I've
say
had enough to drink.
no. I get where you're going with this, but so a few years ago, whenever I already had my road glide at the time, and of course you went and you got that street glide and everything. You were a big fan of wanting to get the helmet communicator.
Mesh talk, yeah.
Mesh talk.
Oh,
And-
yeah, early on. He wanted
and-
to chatty Cathy.
and
let's all link up. Let's all talk.
And what I used to say, what I told him, I said, no, I don't want to do that. Because whenever I'm on the bike, especially like, I love you guys. I mean, I do. But whenever I'm on the bike, at that time, I want it to be about me and the bike, even if I'm riding in a group. I want to ride my ride.
Yep.
And now, granted, we've had lots of good, very funny conversations while riding, through the helmet, through the comms. But for the most part, I am totally anti-communicators in the bikes. I've got one. I've got the Cena 30K. I don't
I
like
feel like
them.
I've heard this story.
I bought one
Ladies and
because of
gentlemen, this
Randy.
segment will be brought to you by Manscaped. Now, we cut back to your originally scheduled program.
There you go.
I was against them. I got one because Randy wanted he wanted to do the whole headset thing, and I was totally against it. I was like, no, we can point and we can do this and use sign, we can use signs, whatever.
Yeah, but part of the reason was because when I first got back into riding, I was thinking I was going to be this really safe rider. I was going to wear guarded leather with all the guards, full face helmet. And I was going to do all this stuff, and I wanted comms to be able to say, Jeremy, on your right, you got somebody coming over on you. Be talking like that. And then all of a sudden I found out that I'm helmetless, short sleeve, and Chuck T's on a bike, and I really don't care anymore. So.
Well, I can see where they serve their purpose, and they are good. Me and my buddy Philip Roberts, whenever we went and rode Blue Ridge Parkway last September, we rode Blue Ridge Parkway and all of Shenandoah Skyline and all that. We had them, used them the whole time. They were on, but it wasn't like we were having a continual conversation the whole time. There were a couple of instances where we rounded a curve, there was, a log in the road or, a deer run out, hey, there's a deer up here, whatever, that they came in handy, but for the most part, I'm totally against them. My logic on that is, hey, let's just point, use hand signals and all that, and then whenever we stop for fuel or whenever we stop and get, grab a beer at the end of the day or whatever, hey, let's talk about what we saw along the way that day. So that's my take. Y'all chime in.
Well, the wife and I, our previous bike, we had comms in our helmets, and we'd like that to be able to talk as we're going down the road. You see that? Wow, there's two cows humping. That kind of thing.
Well, you might point at like a real pretty tree, and she sees an old Volkswagen.
Right.
So yeah.
I actually, story for another time, I went down on my old bike, busted my helmet up, and actually fell on the side where the comms was. So when we bought the Road King, the wife was, I was like, I want the Sons of Anarchy look, and the wife was like, but we can't talk, and so part of that for her is sharing in the experience. I think communicating when we can and being able to listen to music too, because the Road King doesn't have the speakers and the fairings and all that. So, sometimes when I'm out by myself just in
Sound like
town.
you made a mistake when you bought it.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Just teasing.
Man, I love my bike. And now sometimes when I'm in the music-y mood, I'll still put on my full face and pair to my phone and listen to tunes. But I have since, and Shelly and Allison played a big role in this, kind of turned Lisa on to the open face helmet. She didn't think she'd like all the wind in her face, so up in Sturgis, they were running a deal at Microdot, so I picked up two beanie helmets, 2 half shells. She's going to give that a go, because I have, and you and Shelly do this, it's perfectly okay for the wife to lean forward and yell in your ear over the muffler.
Yeah.
There's 2 cows humping over there.
That's right.
Yes.
So.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, and I know they were riding a year or so before we started riding together, but the comms were kind of part of what we wanted to do, I thought.
Yeah.
But that goes back to the end of our last episode where we kind of got into the solemnness and the serenity of riding and everything, and like even Shelly now, she don't even want to put on a full face. I mean, and if it's too cold to wear the half, she's probably not riding anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know when the last time was that she's had on her pumpkin helmet here. I just put that on the other day, but I don't know when the last time she's even had it on.
Yeah.
I'll wear mine. I've started wearing it again since I ride the PA, because I guess, when you're wearing an adventure bike, you got to have full face helmet. We had that conversation.
Yeah.
But I will wear it if I'm riding during the day, like if it's work, like if I'm going.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have taken
Phone,
conference
yeah.
calls in my
Phone.
helmet before.
Yeah.
They are a long way from what they were 20 years ago. And I had Cena. Harley and Cena were partners, and that was one of the better ones. Well, Cardo's always been out there, but they haven't until recent kind of really caught up and probably surpassed in quality. And are they from the States? I think they're from Europe somewhere, aren't they? Well, this year,
I'm thinking Canada, maybe.
I know that I didn't think they were out of this, but anyway, this year they actually, tied the knot with Harley, and Cena's out and Cardo's in, and I bought one and put it on. So Shelly's still got the comport for the Cena, so we can mesh up with the two. It's just not as simple as it used to be. But yeah, I don't. That and the adventure bike don't have speakers on it,
Right.
so if I'm on it and want to hear music, I'll listen, that way. But I'm not a big doer of the comms for the most part. I guess they have their place in certain circumstances. But when I took the 1,800-mile trip out there, I still worked, so I talked to my guys during the day. I talked to customers, and amazingly enough, they could hear me, and everything was good.
Yeah, and they can't tell you're doing 80.
Yeah, they have no idea.
They can't hear the exhaust.
It's not like being on the phone with it to
Right.
your ear or in your truck,
Right.
but it's still not like wind blowing in the mic and all that stuff.
Well, with my full face helmet, I position the Cena and the components to where the microphone is literally directly in front of my mouth. So I could talk in almost a voice that I would use in a library, even going down the road at speed, and take a phone call. And I've done it a few times. But for the most part, I'm out on it.
So your Cardo, and this is something that you researched and I've looked into as well. Which I don't have the Cardo. I've got the old school Harley's old bed partner, but you played around with this a little bit ago, and you put out a video where you were able to pair it to your Insta360 camera.
Yes.
And actually talk
Correct.
and lay down some audio as you're riding down the road.
Moto vlogging.
Yeah, and that's a pretty cool feature to me.
Yeah, that was one reason that I bought the X4 Insta360 camera.
Yeah.
The X3 was still good, but the 4 has the ability to pair your mic to it. So it paired up, and as soon as you hit record, if your headpiece is on, you're connected.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
And I've done all kinds of research to try to figure out how to get the Cena to connect, and they're obviously
it's a Cardo X4 thing or Insta. I don't know what it is, but there's a frequency that the two of them have and see between each other that nobody else does.
Yeah. And there's a lot of angry Cena people.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Who want that as an update or a
I don't use mine at all. I feel like, it's great. For me, it's kind of for the amount that I have ever used it versus what I paid for it. I feel like for me it was a pretty big waste of money.
Well, that was one of the things that I was going to mention. They're really cost prohibitive. I mean, unless you're planning on wearing one. When we first started riding, him and Allison would be on, like, and you may can use the terms because I don't remember, but they would be on talking to each other. But then John and myself, and we would be kind of on mesh. And then he would come in every now and then and switch over and talk to all of us. And then he would switch back and just talk to Allison.
Yeah.
Because I think Allison's wouldn't mesh or something. I don't remember. There was something because hers was
Bluetooth. Hers was not mesh compatible. And listen, I've wasted so much money going down this rabbit hole of comm units and Harley Davidson's connectivity and
Apple CarPlay and all the stuff.
Super frustrating. Been on the phone with tech support with Cena. Been on the phone with customer support with Harley. As high up the ladder as I could take it. Like, this does not work the way it's designed to work. So that was super frustrating for me. Because Allison and I, when we first started riding together, we used the wired headsets.
Oh, yeah.
And if you want a good experience, go wired.
Yeah.
It works flawlessly. You speak, it turns on, you're communicating, you stop speaking, the music comes back on.
Right.
It's
Well, it's tied to the bike's brain, and it works. Whereas the Cena and the Cardo and all that stuff
So,
is
so it works
trying
like
to
if
work
you was
around.
getting GPS instructions, it kind of overrides that, and then
yeah,
it
you can
comes
turn
back
it
on.
on and off, and tell
Yeah.
it you want this to do this and that to
Yeah.
do that,
Yeah.
and she can hear this and I can hear that. And
But
like,
that's
you
when
got
you had
all the
the-
control of the world, and it works fine as long
Yeah.
as you're plugged into that bike.
I think, well, like even the best, and I would consider the Cena, the 30K that's still on my helmet that I've got now, it's a good unit. Like it's good. However, I've got like during the release, the model that I got like the 30K first gen. Well, then I bought the one for Kim's helmet, not even 4 months later. Well, in those 4 or 5 months, they changed the speaker out that's in your ears. And hers has actually got the better speakers, and I've wore it, and it is better. However, even at max volume, like we as, Harley riders, what's the first upgrade you do to your bike? You make it louder. So it's kind of one of those things where you're able to hear it whenever I ride the Harley, but it's still not like it's super clear.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a
Well, and that's
I
the
don't know,
difference
kind of
of the plug-in. And I never got to experience it, but I know when I bought Wayne's Street Glide, it had the plug-ins, and I don't know what year. I want to say it was around 18 when they quit making the plug-ins.
Well,
Like-
I think
like-
it was model
like-
specific too. If you got a
Like these
electric
bikes
glide
don't
or-
have them on there.
My Tri-Glide's a 20, and it's got
And John's has got them.
my
I think.
my 19 CVO Limited has got plugs for it.
See,
I'm
my
really
21 does
sure
not.
yours. Okay,
Yeah, it is not.
so sometime between 19 and 21, I guess.
Yeah. Now the Road Glide does not have them either, and I don't think your Road Glide
No,
does.
my Road Glide.
But I have heard stories from couples that traveled. Matter of fact, Anna and Tony Robbins that rode with us,
Yeah.
they have them, and they plug them in, and they operate. And the bike, it's all a seamless operation.
It just
She's got
works
control
great.
of her stuff. He's got control of his stuff. The whole 9 yards. You set it up to say passenger has control of her volume, and then blah 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 blah.
The only early on when I was first purchasing gear, I decided to go with the Shoei Neotech because I wanted the comm system to be built into the helmet,
Right.
and Cena offered that for the Shoei, so that was the route I went. I bought both those Neotechs. I bought both those SRL units to go in it, and then come to find out that doesn't play well with the bike. So then we ended up taking those out and buying 30Ks and putting 30Ks in them because those seemed to work better with the bike, and it was just constant frustration. You had to, in order to get Apple CarPlay to work, you got to power the headset on and then power the bike on and then plug the phone in, and if you did anything out of order, it wouldn't work.
Yep. And then you had to cut it all off.
And then you had to start
And
all
start
over,
over again.
and it was just constant frustration with that, to the point I just got fed up with it. But anyway, that was the first year of riding that was just a pain.
Mhm.
Now we wanted to go wireless. We were happy with the wired, but she thought, okay, if we go wireless, then I can connect my phone to my headset, and you can connect your phone to your headset. And
listen to two different.
yeah, if you want to listen to death metal, you can.
Yeah.
And I can listen to an audiobook or watch YouTube videos, which
Yeah.
she's known to do sitting on the back of the bike. So, in theory, everything was going to be great and wonderful. But in reality, it just didn't work as seamlessly as we wanted it to.
Yeah.
To the point it was just frustrating. And certainly the last thing you want, you're excited, you're getting up, going to go for this ride, you're planning this day out or whatever.
You don't need that zen to be disrupted
And
by
it gets all
components
messed up. John
not
and I
logging
had the same
on right.
conversation.
Well, and I can understand, like, for your work, and whenever you wear them, having to take phone calls. Most of the time, if I ever, whenever I had mine in and took a phone call, most of the time they got, sent to voicemail because that's my time that I have. And I'm a little bit old school, like I've got the Road Glide, and I just put we put the Soundstream head unit in, sound stream out, infinity speakers. The music's great. I love the music. But most of the time, as good as all that sounds, even most of the time, I'm just I want to hear the motor and exhaust guy.
Well, you guys eventually went to half helmets, and then it was all useless anyway. I mean, how long has it been since y'all put those things even on your head?
I mean, it's been a minute, kind of like you said. I still wear my full face helmet. One, if I'm getting on the beamer. Two, if I'm going to be stuck on the interstate for a long period of time.
Yeah.
I prefer the full face helmet.
Yeah, I wore mine going out to Arizona.
I will say, when we rode down to Daytona
Yeah.
a couple years ago, I can remember, the morning we had stayed in the hotel room, got up the next morning, headed out to make the last leg or whatever. It was, Allison was getting ready for work, and I was able to FaceTime her, riding down the road with the comm unit.
Yep.
She could see me and I could see her. And,
That's awesome.
so I mean, that was kind of cool. Is that worth a whole lot? I don't know that it's worth the headache that I put into it.
Yeah.
At the time to make all
Wasn't
that
worth
work.
$500 or $600 to make it all tie together because you would having to buy
Yeah,
harnesses
I think
and
I've bought
whips
SRLs. I've bought dongle this and a
Yeah.
dongle for that and a bypass for that
And countless hours trying to make it all work.
troubleshoot it, yeah.
Then we bought the 30Ks. Then I bought a 50, and now I finally just said the heck with it. I'm not connecting the comms to the bike.
Yeah.
The bike will have its standalone, whatever it does,
Yeah.
and then the comm units will be connected to our phones. And if I want to use the comm, if I want to listen to my music in my
Yeah.
helmet, then
That's
the
what
bike
mine
doesn't
is.
have a clue
Yeah.
what's going on. And
Mine,
that seems
mine's
to
not
work
connected
best.
to the bike at all. I have, and then of course you had the whole Harley thing where CarPlay wouldn't work unless you had a headset connected to the bike.
Mhm.
That's the way their head unit was set up. So through a lot of work, yeah, that's yours. Through a lot of work and due diligence and research and everything else, DJ actually found it, and then he got his laptop out, and we were actually able to patch into the bike's computer, bypass that setting, basically trick the bike into thinking it had a headset on it when it didn't, and then Apple CarPlay would work. So once we did that, then we could buy the wireless dongles and plug into the cable that's in the right pockets or wherever those are located on your bike. And now we have Apple CarPlay and everything works fine, and our headsets were never even connected. So before, if we rode these helmets, without comms and tried to get CarPlay on the we couldn't do it.
Well, and the half helmets, a bunch of the manufacturers, they make, the half helmets that's got the earpiece that comes around, but
I know people that wear those and they seem to work good, but it's hard for me to fathom that not getting, like my group that was from here and that was out in Sturgis, that we never saw, but anyway, they were out there. He wears a half helmet. It's got that ear kind of covering, and
Yeah.
and it's inside
built-
there
it's
is
built
the
into the
earpiece,
flat,
and then
yeah.
there's a mic that comes around kind of inside the strap, so it doesn't catch a lot of wind noise, but
well, if your bike has stock exhaust on it, or if you're riding with not right beside somebody that's got a terribly loud exhaust, or if you're not riding fast, I could see where any of the headsets would be great.
just about it, yeah.
But like for a loud bike or high speeds, open fairings or whatever, I'm not a fan. I pass.
I think they are. I think they also could be a distraction. There's been a few times where I have been on the phone talking and get kind of caught up in conversation. Not any chance of a wreck or anything like that, but get off the phone call and then like,
Where'd the last
How
20
did-
miles go?
yeah, how did I get here? Maybe that's good. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But I don't ride anywhere near today like I did prior to my wreck. So when I come to a stop sign, a red light, an intersection, in town, whatever, and there's other vehicles and things and people pulling out from gas stations and all that stuff, I ride completely different than I used to. I used to pull through and I was like, the light's green, I'm going. I don't trust it. I don't. The light's green, but I still watch, and I'm watching for tires turning, and I'm watching for motion. Everybody probably does it, but that's my thing that I do. Stop sign, I come, I stop, and then I go.
I look for eye contact. I want to
Yeah.
make sure that they see
and I
me.
see them, and they're doing this, and they're doing this at the
Yeah.
stop sign, and I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
That's when you give them
Yeah.
the glove.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
As soon as I make eye contact with that guy and that guy, it's like,
yeah, that's
hammer
right.
down,
Yeah,
I'll get through
then
this
there we go.
conversation.
That's right.
Yeah.
he
That's
knows
right.
I'm there. He
That's
knows
right.
I'm there. They know I'm there.
Well, the worst place.
I know I'm gonna do that.
Well, and hey,
They know I'm coming. I know I'm coming.
and that's when I'm sitting there going at the red light, you know. I'm revving. I'm like, hello, you know.
It's not just to showcase the new exhaust.
No,
it's
loud
it's
is
to be
better.
seen.
I watched the video not too long ago, and we won't go into this part, I don't guess, but watched the video where an insurance guy was actually did a little short clip on how loud exhaust is better. And and of course, hearing that, you're thinking like, oh, this ought to be interesting, you know, for all the guys that don't like loud exhaust. But his whole topic of it was discussing: pull up to a red light, rev that thing. You pull up to a stop sign, rev that thing. You pull up into an intersection or a store or wherever there's traffic, cars moving around. He said, rev it up and rev it loud. He
My
said, just do
neighbors-
it. Let them know you are there.
My
They don't
neighbors,
see you.
my neighbors love it whenever I come home late at night. And you know, whenever you pull into the garage, you whip around in there and you back it in or whatever, and you know, garage door is open, so it's it's like an echo chamber. But
That's
you know,
right.
right before you shut it off, you got to give it that one little last brat brat.
That's right.
You know.
Honey,
This
I'm home.
That's
Yeah,
right.
honey,
That's right.
I'm home, and the neighbors they know I'm home too. Well, you know, first thing
When
in the morning.
when we came back from the saddle sore, it was what 2 o'clock when we got back, or to here to this area. Y'all still had to go home, but our coming into the house is kind of downhill from the stop sign, you know. And I know how Sully is. Sully's got to where that's our golden doodle, and he's usually in the crate or upstairs, whatever, and he can hear it. He can hear the bikes coming, and when he does, buddy, he pops straight up and he starts moving around, and he's ready to come down and meet me and greet me, and he howls with me and barks, and it's just a fun hoot to see. But this was 2 o'clock in the morning. Everybody was sleeping. We went on a Monday night or a Monday morning, so this would have been Tuesday morning, Monday night, and so I was like, oh crap! So I come in around the stop sign, got just on the hill and killed the switch. And came all the way in, left the switch on, just not the motor running. And I got down here because I've got the garage door open on the bike, so I hit the button, it raised up, and I just let it glide right on in here and never cranked it up because he had been spastic.
He was like, "What?
He had
What?"
Yeah, exactly. So, but no, the whole loud exhaust thing is, yeah, I don't. Yeah.
So how loud? Speaking of exhaust, how loud is too loud? Is there a?
How about a Sawiki Speed racing pipe on a Pan America? That's pretty loud.
That's pretty loud. Like
It sounds good.
I like loud exhaust too, but there is a point to where it gets obnoxious. And when you're riding, you have a bike that you can ride like Chris did, like I did, like you have, and DJ. We've rode 1,500 miles, and how the version of how loud is too loud is whenever you get home from your ride or wherever you're going and you can't hear for 2 days, that's too loud.
When you're ringing, well, that's why they
That's
make
too loud.
earplugs. And I've got them there in both of my bikes. I've got Shelly and myself both have little earplugs, and there are times on our trip where we put them in if we're going to be on the bike for more than a few hours, and really more than probably 40, 50 miles an hour. Because you're talking about turning 3,000 to 3,300 RPMs at 80 miles an hour. So yeah, I'm gonna probably have something in. So
It's just a comfort thing. So I will say I've had thoughts of doing the custom made earplugs
The molded.
that have got filters in them and things. I actually went and sat with an ear doctor, I don't know what you call them, ENT
ENT,
doctor,
yeah.
but and he assured me that Harley Davidson exhaust was too low of a tone to do permanent damage.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder if
went
he's checked out the Sawiki speed pipe on a Pan America.
what
No, I can
He said
guarantee
that it's
he had
more
not.
likely that the wind noise would do the damage.
I've heard that.
yeah,
Yes.
it's the
Than-
high pitch, more higher end.
than the
Yeah.
lower end
Yeah.
of the spectrum.
So
when we first started riding, or I started back riding, and I bought the Street Glide, and I put the Vance and Hines high outputs on, and got them from the dealership because at the time I didn't know any better, and that's what they had. They sounded good. They were good. They were really kind of a low, but definitely better than stock.
That sounded like Trump just then. They were good. They were really good.
They were good. It was good.
You want to be the best.
That's good. I want to be the best.
And they didn't come from China.
I killed him. I killed him. I took him out. I did the whole thing. I did it. I did it. Anyway, so well, I do have one orange. Sold that bike. Bought the next one. The next one had RC component exhaust,
Which is another good pipe. That's what's on Phillips.
it's a very good pipe. I regret not keeping that pipe when I swapped it out. I opted to not go to the extra work to get it back to the house we were staying at to load up for the girls to bring home. But they make good pipes. But anyway, you would always tell me, man, that thing's loud, that thing's loud, that thing's loud, you know, being behind it.
Mm-hmm.
It always sounded good to me, but it was also a twin cam, a little different.
Totally different sound motor.
Than an M8. But yeah, it was loud. And of course, as I got more into it and started buying parts and bikes and different, I realized all the diversities in it. And there are a lot of high pitched exhaust out there that I have come to realize that I don't like. But currently I'm a big Chromeworks fan. There's live kind of on the more lower end. But I mean, depending on what you do with baffles, I mean, and the pipes, I mean, they're all going to be, define loud, all right? But they're all going to be kind of loud in this day and era.
And the Chromeworks sounds good. I've got the 4.5 neighbor haters, you guys know, on my bike. For me, as long as it doesn't sound like a
but you can still take the baffles out.
Yes.
Like the Chromeworks.
Yes. And that's what I was getting at. As long as any pipe doesn't sound like a 350 Chevrolet with a straight pipe coming straight off the motor going to the back, and it has that slappy, loud.
Like you took the head pipes off the manifold.
Right. As long as they don't sound like that, they're okay. But anything other than that, to me, it sounds awful.
The popular thing for late 90s, early 2000s was straight pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on some rides with some guys with straight pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And man,
I would have to do it.
Well, and I don't like
the guy riding it, it sounds good to him. It's just loud to him.
Yeah.
The guy behind him is like, all right, I'm going
to get about 2 miles back. I'll see you when we get there.
I went on a ride. I mean, it's been a while ago now, but a guy had a blue Softail straight drag pipes, and I got behind him for a little while.
Like long shots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just eased off and let him get half a mile ahead of me.
But that's the way a lot of those bikes, like you said, I think back through the 90s, you had the chopper phase that came through, and that was a big thing for them. Now you've got the shorties, the turnouts. A lot of those them guys will crank those up down in the rallies or somewhere we're at. My God, I keep thinking that looks good, like on your Fury and custom Southern cycles.
Oh, you're talking about like the street sweepers that come out and turn straight down?
I call them turnouts that come out right in front of the bags.
Yeah.
And they just look cool because you can enclose the bags. You got no exhaust coming out back there, and it just looks cool. Mm-hmm. But my God, it's loud.
Well, Dad's got a 2008 Harley Fat Bob, and he had Screaming Eagle pipes on it. He swapped them out. He wanted Ryan Hart's, but he put the Vance and Hines Shorty pipes on it. And they come to about mid-frame. And, on his bike, it's a 96, and he's had motor work done, and it's loud. It's freaking loud.
Yeah.
Sounds good, but it's loud. I'm not a big fan of any, like the Victory that I've got. It's got the long Victory drag pipes on it that are, I guess, what you'd call a true dual. But
because nobody else makes pipes for it.
Pretty much, yes. Pretty much these days.
Well, I don't think anybody else makes anything for it.
That is a correct statement. But I prefer more the sound of any something with a collector or a cross, like an X pipe crossover or something to kind of. I'm not a true dual fan, and they make a lot of true dual setups for these newer M8 motors. But I'm not a fan.
Well, the truth of the matter is, and I know you probably know more than I do about this, so chime in, feel free to correct me, but the truth is your M8's best performance comes from a 2-in-1.
Yeah, it needs back pressure.
And Harley builds these bikes, and this is what I told you about buying a stock engine. Even a 131 or 135, Harley builds everything to meet and exceed EPA regulations. So all of these bikes rolling off the showroom floor that come out of here sounding like Grandma's sewing machine when she used to have the foot pedal and go, that's why.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with being heard or seen in a red light. It has nothing to do with coolness. It has nothing to do with X factor or whatever else. It has all to do with meeting everything that the federal government has pressured them, just like automobiles, to make their motorcycles be compliant in the EPA world. We spent the spring of 23 rally in Daytona talking to our good friend Kevin Carroll at Reinhardt, and him saying point blank, if you want a pre-compliant pipe, you better get it now. Because he said when they're gone, it's all going to be post-compliant. That is all you'll be able to get. So, you know, that header pipe that I was talking to you about, that's pre-compliant stuff. So if you were to decide you wanted that, it'd be good because you wouldn't have to worry about it. Everything else, what they've done is they've allowed, and this is Reinhardt specific because others may have done different, but they've allowed Reinhardt to keep the head pipes all the way out now, and because they don't have catalytic converters in them. So now guess where the catalytic converter is, or where the EP compliant device is?
It's in the muffler.
It's in the slip-on. So now if you go down there and you say, hey man, I want to give me some headers and some big bad loud pipes and put on here, cool man. Well, your headers are really good. They're okay. Well, just give me some slip-ons. Well, guess what? You take your slip-ons off and you put slip-ons on,
And they got catalytic
and
converters.
they got catalytic converters up in the slip-ons. So you got to give them a little bit of brain technology there. Somebody was thinking, oh, these motorcycle guys, they like to do them little slip-ons. We'll solve that problem.
So I know you run the Chrome Works on, which is probably what I'm going to be converting to probably here next month when we go to Daytona. You know, they look good. They look great with the angle of the bags that come down on the Harleys. So do they have the any kind of catalytic converter in those, in the slip-ons?
So the odd thing is, right now, and I really don't know what their compliant pipes are like, but no, they don't in the pipe, and here's why. They have been able to, again, chime in here, you may know more than me. They have been able to, because they make all the Harley stuff. All right, Chrome Works, everything you see on a brand new Harley sitting on a showroom floor, 90% of it, if not more, if not 100%.
Relating to the exhaust.
Relating to the exhaust came from Chrome Works, which is why you can buy aftermarket Chrome Works stuff and it match Harley's.
So even like
stuff.
an OEM head pipe on, say, you know, on a 107 or 114 is made by Chrome Works.
Well,
Comes out of their manufacturing.
comes out of their manufacturing,
Did
like
not
for
know that.
Harley.
Same way with their
Yeah.
handlebars. You go look at a stock bike, and you know some pretty high percentage of them is, from my understanding, manufactured by KST.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah,
I had
I
a
know.
running joke for a while. Like I wonder how many KST bars KST takes off of a stock bike, and Harley
Puts on
carries
the
it
good
back
ones.
to their shop,
Hangs it.
polishes it, and sells it to Harley
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Put some new barcode on it and sells it.
That's right. Yeah. So with that being said, I think they're probably able to get away with some stuff.
Well, they are.
but-
Your big guys are the ones that are going to be hammered on by the EPA. Your Reinhardts, your Vance and Hines,
Cobra.
probably Cobra.
So,
D&D.
They're going to be hit, but D&D can fall under this umbrella of we're just aftermarket support. We're racing only. We're track use only.
Which is where the sticker comes from, where it says for off-road use only.
Exactly. Exactly.
So technically, you're not supposed to run it, but 90% of the people do run it.
Right, so they've got this pretty small piece of market share that the EPA is willing to, we're not going to
Concede
hassle
or
them.
whatever. Yeah.
That they've only got 1% of market share.
Yeah.
Let's look at Reinhardt, that's got, 60% of market share, and those are the ones we're going to have to fix. And maybe that's proper or improper, I don't know, it doesn't matter. And Reinhardt has not put up a fight, right? Or Reinhardt could say the same thing, and okay, well, we've got our race line that,
Track
it's not
use
gonna be
only.
right.
Mhm.
But, Reinhardt's decided to play nice and say, okay, we're going to do
Yeah.
some R&D. We're going to come up with something that performs as well, but maintains a catalyst, which I'm fine with. I don't have a problem with the catalyst aside from the heat.
Yeah, you don't hate the environment.
And that's what.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, moving it to the slip-on into the rear of the pipe or back was definitely
It was a
a
help.
resolve of the
For the
heat
rider.
for the rider and the passenger. Part of the problem I find that I think they're going to down the road is especially with these stretch bags, is they're going to find that that's going to be a lot of heat on those bags and wonder how long that's going to last.
Maybe. But, the other side of this is it's just a Harley thing.
Yeah.
And really,
Well,
maybe not even the Pan America is probably not affected by the catalyst much. You're probably not picking up on much of that heat. My BMW, the catalyst is under the bike.
Yeah.
Well, and if it's tuned right, the purpose of the oxygen sensor is to get the mixture right so you don't have the noxious fumes coming out the back and it's not harming the environment. And, I think the only time that it would ever come into play is if, states that require emission control like California or New York or, places like that where you actually, before you can get a tag, if you've got a D&D pipe on there that's for track use only or off-road use only or whatever, and you go to get a tag and they're like, okay, well, they're doing their vehicle inspection and they, check something and it registers. I think until that point, if you want to use one, yeah, absolutely, buy one, put it on.
I don't know that there is an imperfect scenario, if that comes across like I'm thinking it. In other words, you can go out there with any combination of, my header pipes are one is...
Wait, your exhaust is not legal, correct?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
But you're going to wear a helmet?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. I was just making sure I was clear on that. Sorry.
I'm going to wear a half one on this one and a whole one on that one.
Okay.
So,
sorry, did I
yeah.
cut you off?
No, you go ahead. No, I was just...
So we've had this conversation, and I'll get you guys to chime in. For our listeners that may question our sanity in wearing a half helmet, I challenge you to ride a Harley with exhaust modifications with a full helmet, and then take the full helmet off, put on the half helmet, and see which is less
obnoxious.
I want to go first.
You.
I want to go first. Can I answer this? I want to go first. Okay, so the trip that me and my buddy made last year, we knew we were going to be riding pretty hard. We were riding solo. No wives involved on this trip. We got all the way over really too far in a safe manner on the sidewall tread of the tires, really tossing around a big heavy bike. Well, we both wore our full face helmets. And, I've got my HJC, he's got another brand, and again, love my helmet, great helmet. However, whenever we left, 60 miles outside of Washington, D.C., we got on the interstate, and we run them up pretty good. We were running not dangerously fast, but we were running about 84 miles an hour side by side for about 9.5, 10 hours. I had my neighbor hater exhaust on my bike. He's got RC components on his, and we're side by side, 3,500 RPMs. And I can tell you from experience, and I know where you're going with this, it is much more loud for me wearing a full face helmet with aftermarket exhaust on a Harley than it is wearing an open air beanie helmet. It's like an echo.
There's something
it's like an
about
echo
that
chamber.
Tone, that deep tone that gets inside of that helmet.
It just rattles around.
Well, it's the drone. It's like several years I drove a Z28. I had a Flowmaster Super 40 on it, and later got a Dodge with a Hemi, and had Flowmasters on it, and it's a good deep tone. But you get to that certain RPM, and there's a drone, and you can't escape it. It's there, and
Now you either got to speed up or slow down.
Yeah.
You really can't. And I think and mine there's two different things, because that one over there, the limited, I had the baffles in going on the trip, and really wasn't bad at all. This one, the Road Glide, if I'm on a long trip with it, I don't have any baffles in it, and so there's a difference in RPM and how it affects the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he and I's had that conversation many times. That is one of my biggest, which is odd, because when I'm on my comms, back to comms, nobody else can hear it. But it rattles in my ears like if my ear was in the end of that pipe.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that it's that loud. It's that obnoxious, and that's really the only word I know to use.
Well, and you wouldn't think that a full face helmet would be like that. You know, the one that I got and use and love, it's, you know, it's a good fit. You know, I've got a HJC head. I've tried on a bunch of different helmets, and for my whatever shape of my head, HJC is the fit for me.
Right.
I hate you.
You said it, I didn't.
But like, you know, even with as good as it fits, and you know the padding and the molding and everything in it, you would think, okay, yeah, this is excellent. You know, it's gonna protect me in the event of a crash, and you know, block out any wind noise and all that. I've got the nose piece. I've got the the windshield that's on the bottom of it. That's when you slip on, and it's still loud. It's just you.
Have you tried any modular
Well,
helmets? Is there a difference between having that
That's why ours
break
aren't.
in the helmet? Or?
I don't know. I'm thinking about getting, whenever I do buy a helmet to ride with the KTM, I'm thinking very seriously about getting the ADV modular style helmet. Just because, you know, if I get in a slow speed scenario where I need the protection, but I want the open air, like woods riding, trail riding, whatever. But I don't know. That's a to be announced scenario.
Yeah, my full face is modular, and I'll tell you, on those hot days, going stoplight to stoplight, it's nice to have that little little convertible right there.
The biggest thing I don't like about the only downfall to a full face helmet is, you know, if you get hot and you know you want to get a drink of water or whatever, or, you know, grab a quick drink while you're going down the highway or stopping at a red light or whatever, you can't get a bottle of water in there. You know, and even all these bendy straws that you get, you know, because the way mine wraps around and it's so close, you can't finagle something up in there to even get a sip of something to drink. That's my only complaint.
Well, it is a there are inconveniences in about any, like I've looked at the 70s helmets coming back. You know,
Oh yeah, the full
Three-quarter helmet.
three-quarter helmet
with a modular shield,
yeah,
or
and just the shield, the bubble shield,
Yeah.
is really making a comeback. Like there was a lot of them in Sturgis that had them in war. But you know,
But you can only wear those if you're riding a cafe racer.
possibly.
Like you can only,
That's the
that's
correct look.
That's right.
That is the correct
Right.
look.
I would suspect that you might get away with wearing something like that and it not rattle because of the style, the way it fits. I think that part of the problem with the full face and the noise is the sheer fact of how it comes around and out here, you know, to that
Possible.
nose area. And even though, and I've got the guard under mine as well. And the Sedici over here does not have it guard, or did. I took it
It makes
out.
a big difference.
But it still seems to find its way up in there, and it doesn't matter. But I'm wondering if one of those three-quarter kind of old style.
Well, the
be
regular
better.
three-quarter helmets, and you know, like none of us are old. Well, except Randy, he's kind of old. But they look like they look like a pawpaw that's on a gold wing. That's what they look like. You see a lot of people that ride gold wings, not knocking gold wings, but it's a pawpaw helmet. The cafe racer style helmets, yeah, they're actually pretty cool, but I don't think I could wear one though because it makes me, I'd feel like a goldfish.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put that head in a helmet, it's probably going to look like about ready to pop.
Well, it's a safety hazard. I mean, you got the wind that's coming over the, the
Yeah.
left sand shield, and you got, beard hair that's doubling back up, just causing all kinds of chaos.
And I got to tell you, that is just one. I'm about to cut mine, I think.
I'm going to cut mine off.
So now that you've got an ADV bike and that sip of water you were talking about, are you going to do the Camelback?
Well,
Where are you at on
I think,
Is that
well,
camel top?
I think, no, I don't think that I will, because I don't foresee, as much as I love to ride, I don't foresee myself ever being in a situation where I'm going to be so far from a store that I can't stop and get me something to drink, or not have, a bottle of water and a tank bag or tail bag or something.
So when you and I are going past him on a trail, and I go, and you do the same thing, he's gonna be like,
So no, to answer that question, no. I mean, they're neat. I think it's.
I've looked at some that it comes with, like it comes in a vest, because you can buy like Moscow sells the I guess the harness that you can put different bags on, a backpack and then a front pouch and different things, and they come in some of that stuff. Viking bags, and some of the other people do too. If it came in it, like, I don't know that I would buy one. Do you have one yet?
Well, I want to be. If
I've
I'm
been
riding,
advised to buy one. I've been told that I will appreciate having one.
okay,
Well, it's what be the difference in not and like one on that versus. I mean, what's the reasoning for having it that you?
if you had no
No.
storage on your bike, now, you're riding a Beamer, and you've got the 690, and you're probably going to put a tail bag. I mean, you're always going to have a bottle of water. I mean, think about every time that you had to go ride, you've got 2 liters of water strapped to your back, and it's going to be hot. I mean, we're in Alabama or whatever. It's going to be hot.
It's. I mean,
You're
the
going to
water's
drink
not
it.
cold.
You're going to have to refill it. It's just, to me, it's kind of a gimmick. I mean,
If I was in the desert, if I was in Arizona, the Mojave Desert, or somewhere, Nevada, where I was going to be riding in 110-degree weather.
no chance of a gas station.
And now, I will say, we've been on some rides. You coming out there where gas stations are
Few and far between.
few and far between. So I could see where there would be a need for it. The problem that I have with having something for when there's a need is, like most everything else we buy for these bikes, it's expensive.
But then, so you go through. I think we're a little spoiled on the Harleys, in that we stop. We're wearing a half helmet.
Mm-hmm.
We're wearing fingerless gloves. The bottle of water's in the cup holder.
Yeah, agreed. I see where you're going with that.
And in an adventure bike, now you're stopping in the middle of a trail.
There's less storage or no storage.
There's less storage. There's not a cup holder because you couldn't maintain it there.
You got a full face helmet on.
You got a full face helmet on that probably doesn't have a quick release. It's probably them piss and D rings.
Yeah.
You got full gloves on.
Yeah.
And
And
chest
so now
piece
it's
where you
not
look like
to
you're
stop,
going to go
grab a
disarm
quick
a
drink of
bomb.
water.
That's right.
It's like, all right, I gotta undo all this garbage. I gotta get this helmet off. I've
Yeah.
got to dismount this bike. It's sitting on, maybe, it's gravel, it's dirt, it's just not a parking lot.
So you finally
where
say,
pulls up
screw it,
and
I'll
stop
just
there.
dehydrate and die.
So I think there's one side of it that the guys are like, if you've got the Camelback, it's just a quick, it's in, you get a drink, you go back.
I mean, the practicality of it, I ain't gonna lie. I see that on the guys that are riding on these videos all the time, and the practicality of it, you look at it and go, why didn't I think of that? I mean, it makes sense. And I ain't gonna lie. I thought a couple times in the summer riding these bikes how I could run one of those silicone hoses into the saddlebag or something like that, and run a hose up from the saddlebag and put or something. I don't know, but
well, I'm lazy. As long as they, I'm lazy. As long as we have water that comes in plastic bottles of any shape, form, or size, I'm gonna pack my water.
as long as he can
just
pass
like
through
this.
a town of Aladdin with 15 people, he's gonna stop.
No,
and get him.
no. As long as I can have my water in a bottle, and I can strap that puppy somewhere, anywhere. I don't care if it's with duct tape, electrical tape, or with a bungee strap. That's
the
how.
bike.
on the bike. That's how I'm going to carry my water.
Okay, so I have my argument again to ask. What is the difference? Ignore the cost. What is the difference from having a 2-liter vest thingy and a 2-liter bottle on the bike? What's the difference? Convenience is a big factor there.
I don't want to be wearing the water. Like, I don't want to wear the water. I don't want to put the water on with my
So
jacket.
some of them are in tank bag.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a bladder. I've got a built-in bladder. It works just fine. I don't need to wear a bladder on the outside of my body.
That's true.
How about that?
I'm surprised it took
Well,
this long.
I've got
I think we've lost them.
We might have to cut the video here.
No, I mean, for me, it's just like I don't want to wear my water in a bag. Like I don't want it sloshing around on me, and it's just not for me.
It don't slosh around on you. It's in a compact bag inside of
on the back side of your bomb disabling torso device.
Well, I can, like I said, I can see the practicality of it without even thinking hard.
I think some of it comes from the racing world. You know, when you guys doing rally races.
Yeah, well, in Talladega, like Talladega races, where they, you have to be in that seat. You can't get over. You can't stop. You have to keep going.
How do NASCAR driver? They have it in there. How do they have a tube also that comes?
Yeah, it's the same way. You know, because they can't stop. But
they pee in their bags too somehow. I mean, they got
they pee through the straw. And for me, right. I'm never going to be in a situation where I would use it. I mean, I will pull over. I will find somewhere
get a drink
to get a drink.
I've seen them. And a couple of the bags that I was looking at, it said, comes with a whatever bladder, and I'm thinking, if it comes with it, I get it. But did I ever go online and look and go, I need a water? I don't know.
I would come closer to, if I was going on a sure enough serious trail ride, I would come closer to buying a little bottle of the water, or one of those straws. It's a water filtration straw, and finding water in a creek that's going to purify it, or scoop it up in a cup and drop a pill in it and let it pure, versus wearing a external hydration Camelback.
You seen that video where the guy says that everything you just said is the dumbest and stupidest thing, and we are now all dumb for hearing it.
A stupid Camelback.
But I will carry.
What I will do.
But I will carry the little water filtration pills.
But I will tree hug my filtration
water.
water.
I don't want to carry 2 liters of water on my back.
We'll spot
I
the birds, which will be close to the creek.
I can drink a whole creek bed full of water with this straw.
And I'll tell you what.
Be back with you guys. I got to boil my water.
And when I'm riding in the middle of the summer and it hadn't rained in 2 months and there's no water in that creek bed.
You'll be finding that grub that's got some juice in it.
I don't know. Just for me, I don't think it's a good fit. I would never use one.
I don't know how I would feel about it riding or not. I've never had one, so I don't. I can tell you this: I have been in 8-hour tournaments bass fishing in the heat of the summer. Other times, hot, and have a cooler full of bottles, water, whatever, Powerades, and have to lay my rod down and then go get something and keep hydrated, or do it while I'm moving from spot to spot. Yes, I could think several times how it would be nice just to be able to,
Well, I'll tell you,
and drink while I'm, I can keep fishing.
Lisa and I, the wife and I, we have Camelbacks, and we use them for hiking.
I didn't know he had a Camelback. Whatever I said derogatory about him, I take it all back.
So there's a place in Arizona called Camelback.
Oh, nice. So we use them for, we do a lot of, well, we used to, we haven't done as much anymore, because now we spend our time riding instead of hiking. But we, we'll go Bankhead or someplace like that, and we'll go for a whole day, pack a lunch, and instead of carrying in 8 bottles of water a piece to get us through the whole day, we got a 3.5 liter you know, a
Yeah.
bladder that fits in the backpack, and you got a, you know, extra shirt and extra pair of socks and stuff like that. So that's convenient.
And
Again, I can see the practicality of it. I just, you know, I don't know. I mean, I might would like it or not. I'd have to.
And
try
for the
it.
hiking world, I mean, I guess that would be okay.
Or
For
take the straw with you.
Yeah, for the fishing world, this is where I'm at on that. So, and this is just my opinion. So, like, I motorcycle for fun, and whenever it becomes too much like work, then I'm out. You know, so anything that's going to require me to do this or require me to do that, or, you know, becomes a burden that I have to do, like wear a camelback or replace
Are
water
you
when
trying
it's
to say the
out.
word work?
Yeah, well, I do it for fun. So if it causes me stress and wearing that would stress me out, then it's not fun anymore. So I'm going to pass on it. Go ahead, DJ.
I'm not sure I appreciate his tone.
Well, he knows it's coming. He's like, just go and give it to me.
What about Friday night? Let me paint the picture.
Oh, I know where you're going with it.
Friday night. Man, it's 10 o'clock. You've had dinner. You've had a couple sippies. The new battle pass is out.
Oh, man.
You enter into a tournament. Now it's 2 o'clock in the morning.
But don't use drinks.
Y'all-
Use piss. He's
y'all-
got to go pee.
Y'all
It's the same
conquered
thing.
level 7 of
Dungeon World.
I know what you're going to say. And yes,
Would you use the Camelback then
I
so that
absolutely
you could
would.
maintain play?
I absolutely would. I have actually
He would
had
work
to-
at that.
I have absolutely had to pee so bad that I've actually leaked on my underwear before because I didn't want to get killed by hiding somewhere in a dark corner on
Those of you
Fortnite.
that can't see here, where he's like,
Like if I had a Camelback to pee in right now, I would pee in it. I wish I had a catheter because I gotta go.
you gotta go.
Hey, you drink water out of a Camelback. You don't pee in it.
I-
You know that, right?
Well, I mean, technically,
I mean, you
you
could
can
do
pee in
either.
it and then use the filtration straw on the creek.
You
to
can
drink
use
back.
anything as a container. Camelback, ice bucket, whatever.
bucket.
Anything that'll hold whatever you can use.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. How did we get off on this? Wow.
Oh,
This
Lord.
I think this has been a very good
Well, look,
gear video.
This is the thing, and this is really, I'm glad that was a good kind of exit to the exit. But this is what we want this thing to be about. We want to be about fun, making memories, talking about memories, and just, you know, hashing over everyday real life experiences and potentials. You know, we've done a lot of things. I mean, you know, we're all in our, you know, y'all are in your 40s and I'm in my 50s, and we've been around and seen a lot of things, but we've got a lot more stuff to experience and life to live, and we're looking forward to it. So, thanks, guys, for coming tonight.
Yeah.
Been a pleasure.
It's been awesome, and we will look forward to the next episode. I want to try to see if the next episode we can get John on for one, or maybe sit in for the whole session. We'll see how that goes, and we'll talk to him about that. But hey, until next time, God bless. Southern Tulane out.
No, let me hang it.
There we go.